Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Journey Up, an Entrepreneur's Guide. I'm your host, Bryce Brylen. I'm the Executive Vice President and Managing Partner for Anabasis REIT, as well as broker for Anabasis Realty here in Jacksonville, Florida. And this is my co-host,
Brylen Erickson. I'm the lead associate for Anabasis Realty and the acquisitions manager for Anabasis REIT.
If you guys are interested in learning more about real estate, investing, private equity, any of the above, obviously reach out to us, get in touch with us. We're happy to help you guys. We got another fantastic episode coming today with a good friend of mine and a private equity superstar, Mr. Carlo. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me over your show. This is amazing.
Yeah,
great setup that you guys got here. And I'm so proud of how you guys started from where it is now.
Yeah.
I know. It's been a journey up, hasn't it?
Journey up it is. There you go. So
I really wanted to, hear a little bit of your origin story and your journey up because I know you've touched on a ton of different business fields and wanted to hear a little bit about that. Where were you born? Where are you from? And how'd you get into business?
Good. I actually I kind of grew up in a pretty lucky background. My dad was a CFO of the largest pharmaceutical company in the Philippines, but it wasn't handed to us easily.
Yeah.
The culture, the Filipino Hawaiian culture, it's all about, hey, your mom and I made this. Here's the guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You go ahead and
you figure it out.
Kind of like you with you and Mark, your father, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't handed to you. So for me, it was like that, where my dad said, "Son, this is something that your mom and I worked hard for.
Yeah.
But here's a playbook." And go ahead and work it out from there.
Probably a good thing too, because it doesn't really instill that handout that some kids have growing up whenever they do have successful parents.
Right.
So, you don't want to be a trust fund kid.
Right. Well, it's in the culture as well.
Yourself. Yeah.
It's in the culture as well.
For sure.
So the whole Filipino culture. And then
So you grew up in the Philippines?
No, actually I grew up here in the United States.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went to school back and forth between first grade to fifth grade, and then my family decided, the whole corruption is taking place in the Philippines, ransom and stuff like that. So my dad said, you know what, I've got to get out of here and keep my family in the United States.
Yeah, exactly.
Grew up in D.C. And then I was in a good kid in high school. Got in a little bit of trouble. Had to join the military.
Okay.
So
What branch were you in?
I was in the Navy.
Navy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I ended
Thank
up
you for your service.
You're welcome. So I ended up in California
With the military?
With the military.
Okay.
Fell in love with San Diego.
Yeah.
I was just like, what, this is gonna be me. I'm gonna be here.
Mm-hmm.
Went to San Diego State. Actually, my first journey up experience was I was in a frat house, and of course, like a bunch of girls.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are they here?
Yeah.
What's bringing all these girls in this house? But you know what it was? Real estate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They had the house.
Right.
So I said, I can do the same thing.
Uh-huh.
So of course, I had to raise money from family and friends. We ended up acquiring a property that was like a hole in the wall property. Which is kind of like a mile away from the frat house, and we juiced that place up. Dude.
Yeah.
Painting that son of a bitch.
Just
out.
turn it up
and get. But guess
venue.
what? My first business was email marketing.
Okay.
Okay, so we had one of these guys. He's like super genius guy, and I'm kind of like the social person.
Uh-huh.
We turned that thing into a mortgage place, like a mortgage call center.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because we were generating leads, and then when we were selling these leads for like $50, $75 a pop, but yet when we were selling these leads, these mortgage companies were making $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a pop, and we said, hold on for a second.
Yeah.
Let's back up here for a little bit. We're in the wrong business here.
Correct.
We need to find out what those guys are doing so we can close our own leads.
Especially if you can now bring those leads into your mortgage business at cost.
Right.
Then
Right.
you're making cash.
So in
hand over
college, you
fist.
and your buddies had a different house, and y'all were generating mortgage leads and selling them to...
Yeah, was this in college that you were
This
doing
was in college, right?
Okay.
So actually, that party house that we ended up owning the property.
Uh-huh.
So each room, of course, I was the sales guy, and then in one room we had our IT person, and then the other room we had the social media person.
Right.
Well, back then it was not social media; it was more internet and SEO.
Uh-huh.
So literally, that house was our office.
Yeah.
So Mondays to Thursdays, we're dialing for dollars. Thursdays night, we're having fun, we're partying, this and that.
But you're college kids with money.
College kids with money, right?
Yeah.
So we just kind of like we did. Of course, we doubled up and said, okay, we're doing this in one house. Let's go ahead and acquire another house and another house, and then we were just fixing flipping properties.
Were you and all your buddies like taking ownership? Like yourself, or like was one person doing it, or how were y'all like splitting it? Did that
they
get weird,
didn't know too much about LLCs, and so that's a part again of growing up with like with knowledge,
background,
financial background and acquisitions and stuff like that. So I was kind of like leading the entire thing,
right?
And obviously they figured it out, and I taught them that, and then we started going through these little mini funds. So this was when I was like 21, 22 years old. Same thing what you guys are doing right now, but except it was like from boots in the ground, from scratch.
Yeah.
Just because I was in a frat house, and I'm like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
What's the magic trick? Oh, it's the real estate aspect.
Yeah,
it's the fact that they have a spot, they can have fun, do whatever. And I was like, dude, you know what? I can copy and paste this thing.
Right.
So did you continue on with that after college, or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I owned a mortgage. I was a co-owner of a mortgage shop, a title company, escrow company as well.
What were those companies?
I can't really disclose those. But yeah, I was a co-owner of a title company and escrow company. I was doing more. I was taking care more of the sales aspect of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just meant like the first mortgage company you started in college. Can you say what that was?
No, I can't.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd rather not. I'd rather not. Yeah.
Well, it's very interesting that you had the capabilities to start something like that at such a young age.
Right.
What would you say were some of the challenges that you were presented in starting companies like that at a young age, especially in college or in class? You have young partners, all sorts of things going on. What were some challenges that you were presented?
That's very good. That's actually a very, very good question. When you're an owner of a company, especially like you guys, okay, when you're on top of the food chain, someone else behind you wants to sit on that chair.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So that whole mentality, at least it's for me, when what I learned is when you have that mentality, I'm a CEO mentality, or I'm the owner mentality, I'm the boss mentality, eventually your own friend's going to turn on you because you're not helping them grow.
Yeah.
You see what? So I kind of had that ego growing up because I moved quick, back in the day. Like if I see an opportunity, obviously, because I was kind of like lucky, growing up.
You strike.
Yeah, you strike. Strike when the iron's hot, right?
Exactly.
And at that young age, it was kind of like all about me, like climbing up that ladder.
Right. Yeah.
So the biggest challenge that I realized was you can't really grow without a team.
Yeah.
Eagles don't flock. You got to find them one at a time.
Right. Well, what's that one adage where it's like the man who holds his hand close to himself never eats, but the man who holds his hand open eats with everyone.
Right.
So
I get that. So that was kind of like the learning lesson for me. That you can't really grow without a crew. There's no crew. There's no crew without there's no revenue without a crew.
Right. Yeah.
And
you're only as strong as your weakest link, and you're only as good as the team that you have surrounding you. Because at the end of the day, CEO, boss or not, if you don't have the capabilities to delegate responsibilities and things to your team and people under you, you can't be everywhere at once. You can't be everywhere.
Well, the game has changed too now.
Yeah.
The word delegate, you can't even you guys are partners. Do you want to say, hey, you know what, B, I have to delegate the situation? Like, well, hold on, bro. Like, let's step back for a second. What do you mean delegate? Now it's teamwork. We gotta, the words that we use, especially in this world of you gotta watch out what you say. The word delegates. It's like teamwork.
Right.
If I'm digging a ditch, hey, Bryce, if we got this project, if we got this fund, if I'm digging a ditch, you got to dig a ditch too.
Oh, dude,
hey, if you got
I'll bring the shovels.
bring the shovels, right? Like, hey, if you have 200 leads to call, and I'm dialing for dollars, dude, I'm dialing for dollars as well.
Exactly.
So it's monkey see, monkey do. So that's one thing that I've learned. Really, like the challenges that I went through was people wanted to ride with you, and then when they figure it out, it's either they try to bring in the team that you built, they try to pooch or steal them away from you or what have you. So I realized that, okay, well, why don't we meet you where you're at and let's grow together.
Would you say that was your leadership strategy early on, is kind of
like leading from the front and not leading from the side?
Right.
Like really like getting in there with your troops and showing them, leading by example. Right. Like, hey, I'm gonna get in there, I'm gonna dial for dollars with you. I'm gonna bang this out with you and kind of lead by example so that your team would follow suit.
Right. So but when you're such a young age,
you think you're the shit.
You think you're the shit.
Yeah.
I mean, and it has its advantages and disadvantages.
Right.
Of course.
For sure.
So and you're untouchable.
Oh yeah, you're invincible, man. No, no one can tell you anything.
You just go, So I realized that, okay, I learned my mistakes.
Yeah.
Because you build a company, and I'm very good at building businesses.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's just I'm a great startup captain, but you get to a certain caliber, like from 0 to 5 million. Well, now with my experience, 0 to 10 million, I'm good at that. But 10 million and above, you got to bring in a different caliber to take that over.
Makes
of
sense.
course.
You see what I'm saying? So for me, I'm a great seed captain, but anything above that, it's like, okay, we got to bring more talent in.
Yeah, of course.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, the challenges, it's really, the challenges are, number one, people. Okay. But the acceleration as well is what? People. Right. So yeah.
So San Diego, you're in San Diego, and then where were you at after that?
That's a good question.
After the mortgage business and everything, what was kind of the next step?
So from 2006 to 2013, we were killing. Well, actually, from 2006 to 2009, before the mortgage meltdown, we were crushing it.
Yeah.
Crashing it.
And before 2009, did you have like any indication that was going to happen, or just with your experience?
We didn't want to believe it.
Did it catch you?
We didn't want to believe it.
Didn't want to believe it. Yeah.
But you had heard talks of
right,
like, hey, it's coming.
But I was Superman, right? We all were Superman. Like we didn't want to believe it. Like, nah, dude, we're gonna keep dialing for dollars.
Yeah, why not?
Why not, right?
Yeah.
So from 06 to 09, we were doing the mortgage thing, and of course the market crash. Then we started our short sale negotiation firm.
Okay, that's a good pivot.
Ooh, it was a tough pivot because a lot of those clients that we provided loans to, now they were hitting us up. Hey man, you sold us these loans. What's up?
Right.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Oh
God.
Did you explain the short sale pivot to anyone that probably doesn't know?
Short sale is when the property is undervalued.
Okay.
And obviously the bank is looking to unload their inventory.
Correct.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if you're the real estate agent, or if you are the person that is the negotiator or the liaison of it, your goal is to figure out how to find an investor to pretty much acquire that property so you can fix and flip it, or the bank will pay you. The bank will pay you as well a commission but of course they're losing money. They're losing money out on that.
Correct.
But they don't want ownership of it.
They don't want ownership of it because it's dead weight to them.
Exactly.
It's a non-performing loan. It's a non-performing asset to them.
Correct.
So for them to just like, hey, listen, figure out with this property, we'll pay your 2% or 3% or what have you.
But that loan balance is higher than what they're gonna get.
But this is the best time to buy is what? When blood's running.
When everything's
when blood's
down.
running on the streets,
Exactly.
right. So that's when my investors started coming in, and they said, hey, like, let us know when you got any more of those short sales, because they're potential fix and flip assets.
Yeah, of course.
So were you really hammering like your bank relationships at
Oh
that
yeah,
time?
yeah.
What were some of the things you were doing, if you can talk about it?
Well, first, when you submit the docs, when you same thing as submitting, loan docs when you're closing a deal, right? The loan originator or the coordinator of that file, they're gonna test you. Like, okay, is this person someone that knows what he's doing, or what she's doing? They will judge you on that. But when they realize that you know the workflow or the streamline of the process, that's when they start approving your files. Boom, boom, boom. So for me, I had so many clients that we provided loans to. They were coming to us and say, hey, you know what? I heard that you helped my cousin with that short sale. Could you help me out with mine so I can fix my credit? So when the market comes back up again, at least at least, I can purchase a home. Because at that time it was a credit play. Like they didn't want their credit to bury it any further.
At least they don't have like a fully marked foreclosure, and,
right?
They can get something in a couple years, like you said, when the market comes back. So that's an advantage to them. I get it. It's a great pivot. It's a great business model. What was your process in whenever you were pushing those short sales to investors? Were you partaking in some of those investments? Were you raising capital and going after some of those deals?
There's some deals where if my pocket can fill it up, sure, because I mean, it's just, so there's some $150,000 to $200,000 SS deals. I'm like, okay, like I can put my 25% down. I've got enough money to put my 25 on that, or my 10% on that. And yes, the answer is yes.
Okay.
Awesome. and I crushed it at that time.
Where were you at again? Were you in California?
I was in San Diego.
San Diego still. Okay.
I was in San Diego. I mean, dude, I was knocking doors at some of the places where that weren't so friendly.
Yeah. So that's probably where you were able to get the big deals at.
Right.
For sure. So
yeah.
Hey, I feel like it's a lost art right now, honestly. Everybody in the new generation has turned to, cold calling, mass text blasting, and all these digital, marketing revenue ad streams. But what happened to door knocking? You know what I mean? I feel like that is, you get so much more by showing your face and shaking a hand than having an automated text, I feel like. But, people just don't have that drive to really want to go door knock anymore, I feel like.
Nothing will ever beat the power of handshake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Yes, you're gonna go through a situation where
it's uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
But if you do enough of it, guess what? It
becomes natural.
It becomes natural.
To flow. Yeah.
People just don't want to get up.
Yeah.
They have this mentality of, oh man, I'm gonna be an instant CEO if I have 1 million followers. Nah, dude. In the real estate game, it's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game.
You knock 100 doors a day. You're bound to get a few conversations.
Yeah, they do the first 3 or 5 doors. They're like, oh man, everybody's telling me to go F myself and slamming the door in my face. And I was like, yeah, but you didn't knock 5 more.
Guys, I tell you right now, I shit you not, right? The biggest deals that I got were deals where I showed up after 6 or 7 o'clock at night.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
Because the surgeons, all like the short sale properties were they're owned by surgeons and doctors and lawyers. They're working from 9 to 6.
Mm-hmm.
Hello,
yeah.
They're working from 9 to 6. You're not gonna knock at their door at 5 at like
3 p.m.
on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like, I have a question though about the door knocking. Do you remember your like your first script, or what was like your script? The first thing you started saying. If you remember, do you
have a spiel?
What was your
ding ding ding? Hi, I'm Carlo, and I'm here to short sale your house.
well. We already know that they're 60 or 90 days.
Of course,
because we
pulling lists.
We pulled the trigger list from the title company, right? Step number 1 is we send them a greeting card.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, how's it going? This and that, whatever the greeting card is, and then you mail it out. Boom. And you call them. Obviously, they're not gonna answer the phone, right?
Were you leaving voicemails?
Of course, you always got there's a thing called VEN, voice, email, note. Voice. That's what I always tell my sales team. Voice, email, note. Every time you leave a voicemail, send them an email. And then note it on your CRM. Because when you keep doing the VEN, it's going to stick like venom.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
you
that.
like that?
That?
Put that in there.
Hey, clip that.
VEN, voice, email, note.
Sticks like venom.
Because it'll stick like venom.
I like that.
Okay? Because, because some of our sales reps, right? Well, I left a voicemail. I'm like, did you email?
Shoot them an email.
Shoot an email.
And did you note it in
your
CRM?
Did you note it in your CRM system so you know?
Another time in 3 days?
Right. Because people don't care about how much you know, but people care about what? You show them how much you care. Because when you notate it, and then let's just say they went to Vegas or they went to Phoenix, and you note it in your CRM system, at least you have something to fall back to. It's like, hey, how was Vegas? Did you win anything? Yeah. Did you win anything in Vegas? Or how was Phoenix? How was Scottsdale? Or what have you?
Yeah.
And that's why I always stick with that. VEN, voice, email, note, because it will stick like venom.
And then if you're doing that beforehand, they're already like subconsciously kind of know who you are. And they're like, wait, I think this guy called me the other day. Or I saw his email. Or I got something in the mail from him.
And that's when I knock.
So that's
when I knock, right?
And that was cool, man.
Yeah.
So there's a precursor so that when they open the door, they're like, oh, it's this guy.
It's this
What's
guy.
up?
Yeah. Because in the greeting card, it's my face too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So when you send that greeting card, who's going to throw away a greeting card?
I mean,
they're going to open
it.
it. They will open the greeting card and like...
They might throw it away afterwards, but...
we leave it on the kitchen counter and they walk by in a few days. So yeah, I get that. How was, so going through, you know, like the mortgage company in college, getting into that, did you have like a mentor or anything that kind of helped you through, or were you kind of, you know, winging it?
No. Well, Dad actually taught me how to be a board of director and executive.
Right. He gave you the playbook.
He gave me the playbook, right. Okay. So from there, you know, of course, when I was raising money, and he was helping with Filipino contacts, you know, because they're in the pharmaceutical industry as well. So they wanted to invest in the United States.
Of course.
Okay. It's a safer bet.
For sure.
You know, for, you know, corruption, this and that's a safer bet for the Filipinos. So I did have a mentor, his friends, you know, and then obviously the investors that I brought in for all of these real estate deals that I presented to them during they became my mentors as well. You know, so once again, it's in the upbringing of your family. Like if your family teaches you, like, hey, son, like this is how you should be when you're in a professional setting, and this is how you should be when you're going out setting.
Yeah.
So I just happen to know both.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so yes, to answer your question, I did have mentors, and of course, let's be serious, guys. You know, when I'm doing loans and I'm pre-qualifying them, and if you see in their in Schedule K1 that they're doing well, it's probably a good person to listen to, right?
Of course.
You know what I'm saying, right? Like if the guy has like 20, 30, or his asset under management is like 10 million over 20 million or above, you may want to bro it out with this guy.
Yeah,
Say, hey,
exactly.
you see what I'm saying? So that's...
Was your dad like your biggest role model growing up, or did you have like anyone that like you like kind of set your sights on, like I want to be just like this?
Man, David Rubenstein, the Carlyle Group.
I don't know if I know.
I don't think I know.
I don't think I know David Rubenstein.
Carlo Group.
The Carlyle Group. He's one of the biggest private equity firms.
Okay.
Well, like the Boeings and the what else are the big government government projects out there, like Northrop Grumman, I think. I can't even say it. Yeah, but so David Rubenstein, the Carlyle Group. That is like my idol.
God, that's so funny. I like that. Why?
I mean, it's kind of like my story, you know? I mean, he didn't really come, it's like he had, you know, he's got parents that were, you know, they have a great background, you know.
You find similarities.
It's the same similarity where his parents like, hey, like his like Jewish family, and it's like, you know, the same thing with his story. His family was just like, listen, this is me and your mom's thing, and this is the playbook.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of like the same story with mine. Like, wow, I'm like, I could correlate to that. You know,
exactly.
When I watch his podcast.
Right.
So, yeah, David Rubenstein, the Carlyle Group.
And what's his podcast? Do you remember?
I don't remember. Because dude, he's like, he gets invited like Harvard, MIT, and all of these like podcasts. He's all over the place, right? So if I just search David Rubenstein, dude, I just watched the shit out of that thing.
So you aspire to be something like him. How do you beat your competition? How do you stand out from your competition?
Very good. Okay, well, here's my question for you. Woo, I like this now. Okay. What does Bezos and Elon Musk have in common?
I mean, they're both filthy rich.
Fair enough. Keep going.
They both own businesses. They have
income
streams.
I feel like both of them started at a point where they had nothing, and they put in the man hours and the time and the research and the capabilities.
They have the drive.
Yeah.
You guys ready for this?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Bezos owns Washington Post.
Yes.
Elon Musk owns Twitter. What industry is that?
That's the news.
Media.
Yeah.
I'm good at media, bro. I'm very good at media. I'm the fucking king of media.
I like that.
Real media though, not the fake media.
It's creative media.
Creative media.
What is this?
Creative media.
Creative media.
Yeah, exactly.
You see? So, I mean, I came here. Oh, gosh, what a great question. I came here 2019. Q3 of 2019.
Came to Jacksonville.
I got transferred
from
here.
San Diego.
From Orange County.
Okay.
California,
right.
Were you with Greenfield then?
Ooh, okay. Ooh, man, you guys keep going. All right. When I was raising capital at Fashion Island Hotel, which is like the epicenter of filthy accredited investor world in Orange County, California. That is like the epicenter.
Okay.
I was raising capital, and we're gonna get into the cannabis industry now. Okay. I was raising capital for a hemp farm. Okay, and the raise was I think like 10 million.
Okay. Now is hemp different from cannabis?
I mean, they're cousins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, hemp doesn't get you high. Obviously, THC gets you high.
So hemp, no psychoactive reactions, so
right.
it's more of like a body or
they both have. Oh, I'm not a doctor or I'm not an attorney, so I got to disclose that because they taught us that in the cannabis industry. Yeah. Hemp.
I don't know.
Hemp. It doesn't give you the psychoactive effect.
Right. Yeah, and
obviously
they just
cannabis,
give you the oils and like the wraps and things like that out of it.
And then cannabis obviously gives you the psychoactive effect. However, both have the same medicinal benefits.
Got it.
Okay, it's just one doesn't get you high and the other one does.
Yeah.
Okay. So, going back to my thing here.
We kind of threw 3 questions at you.
I know, right? but this is good
You're
though.
in Fashion Island, you're raising 10 mil.
So raising 10 mil. Raising 10 mil. So actually, let's go back to 2013 because you asked me. It's like, well, Carlo, you were in the mortgage industry. Then what happened next?
Yeah.
Okay. So I made a lot of money doing fix and flips, short sale deals. I kind of got brave. I was like, you know what? There's this cannabis movement.
Yeah.
I kind of got a little bored. You know, I mean, I've been doing
You want to go to the next?
I wanted to test where my muscles, because like once again, that's where my Superman thing. Like, you know what? Let me get in this industry. If I crushed it in the real estate industry, if I celebritize myself in the real estate industry down in San Diego, let me go check out this whole cannabis thing. Because 2012, guys, it was cannabis world in California.
Yeah,
it was on point.
Yeah, and it's been legal there for a while too.
Well, we'll talk about that. So 2012. That's when they legalized the medicinal part of cannabis in California.
Yeah,
and dude, all of the investors, all of the big money, the hedge fund guys, the M&A guy, mergers and acquisitions for private equity guys, they were jumping into the cannabis industry. Okay, so
what do you think was drawing them to it so quick?
It was the hype, bro.
Yeah,
it was the hype. When you can plant something for like $200 and you can flip that plant for like $1,000. Look at the profit margin.
Yeah, huge spread.
Huge spread, right?
Yeah.
And
you can mass produce it.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, the only issue with that is we all are executives, right? We have lawyers and attorneys and accountants, right? You've got these growers that have lived their lives for 20 years putting their money under the mattress.
Yeah.
Try putting those two together.
Yeah. It's like two different worlds. Yeah.
When you start telling Jacob over here, or let's call him James over here, hey, dude, like, we need to get your numbers. James has been living under the mattress bank account for 20 years. Like, what do you mean I have to give you the numbers? Well, we got it.
Like, we're getting financially
We're getting financial, right?
What's on the P&Ls.
What are the P&Ls, right? Yeah. Try to get those two together, and that's the biggest issue. The best growers are the OGs, the guys that have been planting cannabis for 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
So they were probably like, well, like, what do you mean? Like we're getting
right?
Yeah, they were like, what? This is like
at one point B. I'm gonna tell you right now, one of the ways that we were able to collect, because we own the property. My investors, our fund owned the property. Okay, our way to collect was shutting the lights out. we had to go cowboy on them.
Yeah. Makes sense sometimes.
Right, yeah. We had to go cowboy on them, Bryce. We had to shut the lights off. Sure enough, they showed up to the office. All the money.
Yeah, here it is.
Here it is. And then that was the point. I think it was 2018 when I sold my media company to this publicly traded company. When I cashed out, that's when I realized, you know what? It's like, I'm going back to where I'm good at, real estate. You know, so that's the biggest challenge that every cannabis entrepreneurs and executives go through is that relationship. One person doesn't understand why they have to do this, and this other person is trying to push this person. You know, like, hey, listen, we have guidelines that we have to follow. We have auditing that we have to follow.
Correct.
And then you have a guy here that's
probably stoned out of his mind.
But you know, they're smart. They're
they are.
They're good with their money. But at the same time, it's like, hey, bro.
It's like logic.
Right, logic. That's the biggest problem.
I get that.
Yeah,
I get that.
You know, so that's kind of like my story in the cannabis industry. So now going back, how do you make yourself different from your competitors? Be advised, when I transferred here in Jacksonville, we knew people weren't going to accept us. I knew the challenges that I was going to, because we've opened a market already in San Diego. We've opened a market already in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
In Phoenix. So I understood like how to go into a market and get your brand out there.
Yeah.
Media.
Exactly.
Just like what we're doing right now. You interview the who's who in that city, and we started with a magazine, right? Like,
what was that called?
WealthWorks.
WealthWorks.
Yeah, okay. I actually have it here. I got a copy for you guys. What we did was, this is what we did in order for us to get into a market. You go to like a Chambers of Commerce or a BNI, and you interview the president.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you interview the president or the head honcho of that Chambers of Commerce, or
BNI
network, or BNI, or whatever
it is,
right? And you say, hey, I'd like to feature you, just like what you're doing right now. You know, like, hey, I'd like to feature you in our magazine called WealthWorks. We'd like to interview you. And we do have about 750 lead lists of accredited investors.
Yeah.
You know, of course, they'll ask me like, well, who's going to read, you know, my article? Who's going to read my content? I'm like, well, we do have 750, audience out there.
Yeah.
We have a lead list of 750. So when you interview someone, I mean, you're stroking their ego.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're kind of getting personal with them.
You're getting personal with them, right?
Yeah.
And then when they see their face in a magazine, that relationship's already there.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, dude, like, thanks for hooking that up, you know, like, yeah, you know, so now at that point you can ask him, hey, do you know other folks out there that I can interview to feature them in our magazine?
Yeah.
Then obviously we realized that the magazine is kind of like old school already. It worked in 06, 08, 09 and stuff, you know, but when
you have to constantly transition with the times for whatever marketing strategy
and what
is working.
you two guys are doing right now is phenomenal.
Appreciate it, man.
This is it.
This is what's hot.
This is what's hot. Remember,
hot.
One thing I like about you, Bryce, was and definitely put this on, right? I remember one night, I think it was like a year and a half ago. You were a little sideways, and it was around 11:30 at night.
Where were you at?
We were surfer.
We were
a surfer, right? Yeah. Bryce came up to me and goes, "Callie," I'm like, "What, dude?" It was like, "Dude, are you going to the New York HNW meetup?" And this was 11:30 at night. It was already saucy, right? I'm like, I like this guy.
It doesn't turn off.
Hey,
I was like, what?
Yeah.
You're talking to me about HNW meetups and freaking private equity pitch fest? I'm like, you're my kind of guy.
Yeah.
You had my respect ever since then.
I appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? And I told you one night, and I said, you know what, Bryce, like, you're the pioneer right now in the city. You know, like you're doing it. You know, you're a broker. You're a broker at a young age. You already know REIT. At a young age, you guys are already dealing with REITs, and I'm just like, man, I didn't start dealing with REITs and private equity until like 7-8 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And you guys are ahead of the game.
I think it's one of those things where we just kind of So I don't know if you know the backstory between us. I'll make it quick, but we were, friends growing up our whole life. Always wanted to get into real estate, and
we've actually been friends since the 7th grade.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so we've always kind of had that drive to want to do it. And then we're at that point in our life where you're young. This is when you take the risk. We don't really have much holding us back. Bro. So it's like, what do we have to lose? And it was just really just one of those things where, hey, if you jump, I'm jumping, and we haven't looked back since. And now we're here.
So it's been he was working at another real estate brokerage, and I was too. And then I got my broker's license. I was like, hey, we need to start this. I know you're making money at your company, and I'm asking you to jump ship on your job and your income and your life, but you should do it.
I quit the next day.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, you guys are holding the key to the rocket ship right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm saying this out of realness. You guys are holding the key to the rocket ship right now, and you guys are leading this generation to this whole movement, this real estate movement. And just like we were talking about earlier, I guess the message that I think the three of us are trying to convey here to our audience is the fact that, hey, we're executives. Hey, we're They call us the Chads and Brads, right? Yeah, we're Chads and Brads. The finance bros. Yeah. But we know how to have fun too.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We know how to have fun too. Don't get it twisted, right?
It's a balance of professionalism and fun. 100%.
Right. But we know how to pick who we want to network with.
For sure. Yeah.
It's the language that they speak.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So going back to when I got transferred here, we knew that they weren't going to accept us. We knew that. Mm-hmm. We've seen this movie before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So did you change your message for the market?
No. I mean, for me, what are the 4 SWs? Some will, some won't. So what? Someone is always willing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right? So the 4 SWs, some will, okay, I met Bryce. I'm like, hey, what's going on, Bryce? Okay, well, we're both.
Yeah.
We're both on that level. That's cool, Yeah. If another person doesn't like it, so what?
So what?
So what? Next, there's going to be another real estate professional or private equity person or a Chad or a Brad or whatever they call us, right? That's going to be there to be like, hey, bro, you're kind of cool. Hey, you're cool too, bro. What's up?
Yeah, exactly.
It's you get it.
You get it.
You get it,
bro.
Yeah, exactly.
You get it.
Some people get it, some people don't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why the 4 SWs. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone is always willing. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So when I got here, I knew it. I was like, oh my God, I gotta start over.
And did you start with Greenfield Solomon?
Yes.
Immediately from the get-go whenever you got here?
Yeah, because right after the cannabis industry, I was a free agent. Same thing what you did.
How did you get connected with them?
I was actually raising capital for this hemp farm in Orange County.
Okay.
And there's a couple of guys that are like, hey man, come here. It's like yeah, what's going on? We like you.
Yeah.
And I owned a factory where I owned my own cannabis food goods back then when I was in Orange County.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was raising money for that. And they said that, hey, we're interested in investing.
And what are the kind of the products and services that they provide?
When I had Caneo, we had barbecue sauces, margarita.
Greenfield, whenever you
Greenfield. It was just real. At that time, Greenfield didn't exist.
Okay.
They were just trying to put a fund together. And they were looking for a young guy to raise money for them.
Yeah, to head it out.
They're like me, right? Yeah. So they saw me and they said, hey, listen, so how do you like working with these guys? I'm like, well, they're paying the bills.
Yeah.
I've got my food condiments and products, whatever, they're helping me out. They're like, well, what if we invest into your company? However, we want governance of your LLC. Meaning, it's scary. Yeah. It's scary, right? So
explain that if you could.
Governance is, if you have an LLC, obviously 50-50, it's an even governance. But if a person owns 50.1%,
51.49, they have control.
They have control. They have governance.
Got it.
Okay, so they offered me a good chunk of change, but they wanted 70% of the LLC. But at that time, I was wise enough to say, you know what? If I sell my equity to these guys, I'm not just selling the company. They're opening different resources for me.
Correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They have accountants already. Mm-hmm. They have the legal team already.
Yeah.
They have their
it's scalable.
It's scalable. They have their human resources to scale whatever it is that I want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But they
and the financial backing.
Yes, sir.
Obviously.
Roger that. Right. So when they took governance of that cannabis company that I own, it was a bait and switch, right? They took 70%, but they said, "Hey, you know what? Let's put this cannabis thing on the side. We wanted you all along."
Yeah.
I was like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "Yeah, we wanted you to be a part of our board."
Yeah.
That's what it was, and that's when they built Greenfield Solomon.
Okay.
They built Greenfield Solomon. They started with $1 million, and they said, "Well, we have a great city that we want that we have been doing our research on." And to mind you, I had a house. Actually, I had a house over here.
Arlington?
No, not Arlington. Alice Marie, I think was the street. Alice Marie. Yeah, because I bought it after Super Bowl here in Jacksonville. I bought it when I was like 20 years old.
Wow, so you already had a house?
I already house. Yeah. Because I was in the military. Remember, I was in the military. So
so you stationed at Mayport?
No, I didn't actually, but I did have to go to school in Mayport.
Oh, okay.
I did have to go to training, and then when Super Bowl was here,
you had a reason to come.
I had a reason to come. So I bought that house. It was a KB home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a KB home, and the deposit was $2,000. And $2,000 was like, what? I was like, are you serious, dude? Yeah. I was still half drunk. I was still half drunk when I'm signing the paperwork. Okay, cash right now.
With a VA loan?
No, because I had a house already in California, so I couldn't qualify for a VA loan. It was just
standard convention.
It's just standard convention. Yeah. So I mean I deposited $2,000.
You still have that house?
No, I actually sold it in 2021.
Oh, well, you had that for a while.
I've had it for a while. Yeah.
I had it for a while.
Yeah.
I did well on it then.
It was I bought it for after upgrades. It was like $187, and I flipped it for $391.
Nice.
That's
and you probably rented it for several years.
Military.
Yeah,
nice.
Exactly.
I rented the military. Yeah, so it was just sitting there, you know. So going back to when I got transferred here, I started with $1 million, fixing, flipping, lending out the money, you know, hard money loans.
Yeah,
you know, and to date, our AUM right now is 11 million.
Nice.
Our mortgage REIT right now is 11 million.
That's awesome.
You know, just nickel and diming, brother.
Yeah.
Nickel and diming, 50,000 here. You know, lending out money to businesses and obviously fixing flippers. I think there was one point.
Do you lend on equity, or do you use do you leverage credit lines as well?
I mean, for us, we like to stick with the credit. You know, just lending the money out, and then if they default, guess what? That's our asset now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a 25% or 30% discounted for us already.
Sure.
You know, so that's kind of like our acquisition play.
Yeah, exactly.
Lend the money out. If they default, guess what? We have an asset.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So we were very picky with what properties. Well, you know, I think you did approach me a long time ago on an equity deal, but to us, we were crushing it in the lending aspect of things.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, the private credit side. The private credit side, it was we were killing it. So I was like,
How many houses do you think to date since coming here have you taken back from defaults?
We in Jacksonville, not so many.
Not too many.
Not too many. Oklahoma, we have about an 11 or 12% default ratio.
Okay.
11. It's not bad. It's not good, but it's pretty fucking
basically
standard.
one in 10 you're taking them back.
We were taking them back, right?
And typically you're putting in the capital and then flipping it from there.
Right, exactly right. Yeah. So Oklahoma, there's a lot that's taking place at defaults right now. Texas, people in Texas, they're grabbing those properties, man.
Why do you think there's a lot of defaults in Oklahoma right now?
There was a hype. There was an Airbnb hype that took place in Oklahoma in 2021. And Broken Arrow.
Where were people traveling to in Oklahoma? I don't know anything about Oklahoma.
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City, bro.
Yeah.
Oklahoma is like
a cool spot.
It's
I really don't know.
Well, because you got to remember, like a lot of the Gen Zs now, everyone is working remote. They like the whole country life. They want to have land, this and that, So an Airbnb hype took place from 2020 to like the 2023 in Oklahoma, and then all of a sudden a law passed.
Yep, all the legalities come in, and it just destroys property
Vegas.
value.
We made good in Vegas because there's an Airbnb like regulations that passed in Vegas just recently. So we've been taking a lot of our properties or assets from Vegas.
What is that regulation? I honestly. Is it like
Well, dude.
Well, they just changed the terms that you can rent out properties at. So, before the regulation would say you can do daily rentals, and then they'll change the law, and then it's only month to month rentals, like 30-day.
And then make people need it for
exactly.
I get it.
Because dude, you're dealing with hotels, bro.
Right, exactly.
That's
what happened in Daytona. The Hard Rock Hotel lobbied the city, and they passed regulation in Daytona that's really stringent on Airbnbs. Huh?
Since I experienced the mortgage meltdown, I think that's where the next thing is, an Airbnb meltdown.
Yeah.
And I want people to hear that in your podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
At least we've talked about it.
Yeah.
I feel like even in Jacksonville, not to cut you off, but even in Jax Beach, there's a ton of houses that are for sale, and you can go and see those same houses that are on Airbnb. So it's like it
just takes one law.
And that's what it comes down to is big hotels lobbying the government to pass these laws in which you can no longer rent your home daily.
Because you never know.
City ordinance.
Right. Then on top of that, I was actually just using Airbnb. We were in Canada, and the fees on top of that didn't even make sense. It's like we could have just stayed in a hotel and not have to do all this. Right. So it's like it's starting to transition. I get it for sure.
Right. So I mean, you never know too. The big boys like the Blackstones, the Blackrocks, and the KKR. You never know. They might talk to the committee down the street, and then the next thing you know, who's scooping those properties?
Exactly.
They are. Absolutely.
I get it. Yeah.
Right.
No,
so I seriously think and I think the Airbnb crashes. It's going to be the next mortgage meltdown.
Interesting.
But yeah.
So people that are watching that have, heard about all of your story and Greenfield and everything that in your transition here, how would they benefit in being connected with you, working with Greenfield Solomon, and what are the different services and investment opportunities that you can provide to them?
Right now we're not there yet because we just finished our round in Q2 of last year. Lending aspect,
Yeah, lending.
We got capital.
So what if I'm a beginner investor and I want to get into it? What are like some qualifications I may need to then come to talk to you?
Perfect. Okay. So obviously you need an LLC. Okay. And you need to be a homeowner already.
Correct.
Primary residence.
Okay. Because you cannot use that property as your residence. You need an LLC, operating agreement. I'd like to see 3 months bank statements just to make sure, like, hey man, like
you got some money.
You got some money to play with, So 3 months bank statements. The LLC could be tomorrow. Like you can activate your LLC tomorrow. It's all good because we just want to make sure that property is attached to the LLC, and I'll explain why. What else? Last year's tax return to make sure you're paying Uncle Sam. We'll pull your credit, obviously, and then.
Do you run a value add appraisal on the asset?
Of course we do, sir. Yes, sir. We have to.
Just making sure you're checking those boxes.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, we will order an appraisal, and that's a good start right there. Okay, that's a good start to get you pre-qualified. Now, why do we want that property in an LLC? Okay, you're a human being. You have a social security number. This is an LLC. Okay. If we were to foreclose you, it would be harder to foreclose you.
Yes.
Because we can't just throw you out there.
Yeah.
But if it's an LLC and we know that you have a primary residence, that LLC is an EIN number.
Correct.
The judge will say, okay, go ahead and foreclose that property. We don't have to go through this extensive eviction situation.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier for us just to.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. So that's one of the reasons. It's an easier it's an easier legal transfer.
Yeah,
because we're just acquiring a company.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not putting you out in the streets.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know, so that's why we always want to make sure all of the properties that we deploy our funds to are under an EIN number.
If somebody has all these boxes checked, what are the typical types of terms that you are offering? Are they just bridge terms? Do you
do hard
DSCR refinances as well?
Yeah.
What are some typical terms that you're offering to your clients, potential clients?
Right now, banks are not lending money, so we can get away with going interest rates between 8 to 13%.
And is that bridge capital?
It depends. Yeah, bridge. Bridge right now is about 10%, I think.
10? Okay.
Yeah, about 10% right now. Because we know no one's lending money out right now. Right. The biggest thing is.
So I have a question actually.
Go ahead.
No one's lending money. Obviously, interest rates are high. A lot of unrest in the country. Kind of. We got an election year. How is this? Has this year been any harder compared to all the other ones, or what are kind of some of the challenges you've been facing this year? How are you overcoming them?
It's all about educating our clients and strategizing. You know, if you know we're going through this election right now. You know, it depends who wins, blue or red, right? But regardless, whoever wins the next year, they're going to try to win the crowd by lowering the interest rate. So the consultation that I provide to my clients is, listen, maybe you want, let's go ahead and get the property. It's going to be a steep interest rate, but let's put you on a no prepay program. And so you can refinance in 12 months.
Yeah, exactly.
That's go ahead.
I was gonna say, what if I don't know what a no prepaid penalty is?
I mean, I'm gonna that's my job to educate you.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's good though that you're honest and forthcoming with your clients, because there's a lot of people that don't know all the different terms and ins and outs of a loan, and I've heard of many people getting into loans where they find out that there's a 5% prepayment penalty in year one, and they've had a couple of curtains pulled over their eyes, and then they get into dicey situations. So it's good to hear that you're educating your clients. You're telling them, hey, these are what the terms mean, so that they aren't led in the wrong direction.
Well, because a lot of us commission-based entrepreneurs out there, it's called the commission breath, right? Like, man, I got to make this commission, so I got to pay bills. The beautiful thing about Greenfield Solomon is we have 4 different sectors that we focus on: franchising, real estate, financing, and obviously multimedia. So if the financing world right now is a little bit slow, we still have our franchising money. Food, catering. That's why we have these events, like Social Sparks catering. People are always going to eat, but it's not going to be a magnitude income like real estate, but we have our scale income that will be able to pay bills.
Yeah, exactly.
That allows me to be upfront with my clients, like, hey, listen, like, this might not be a good loan for you, even though I know I can close them on it. But in my heart, because I've been through the mortgage meltdown, and I've dealt with clients in the past where, yo, Carlo, man, like, what the F is this loan? So I've been there already. Yeah, so for me, I don't want to experience the commission breath again just to pay my bills. And that's a beautiful thing about Greenfield Solomon is we have 4 different sectors.
Yeah, exactly.
If one division is kind of slow, we're not going to push our clients to take a deal just for us to keep the lights on.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're also Greenfield Solomon is also getting into the automotive division now.
Okay, wow.
The portfolio theory.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I'd like to hear a little bit more about this division of the company.
The Social Sparks.
We've got the Soundwalk Roots project. You've got some other events that you guys have thrown. I know you guys are in the multimedia and now, potentially event space in different parts of the company. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, well, Social Sparks really, it's a multimedia play. Just like this.
Yeah.
Right? However, we want it more as a give back to the community. So we're partnering up with a lot of nonprofit organizations, because once again, like, you kind of have to pick and choose who like friends of a feather flock together, right? Like I already have my investor executive division already, which is the Greenfield Solomon division of finance and real estate. Okay. We kind of had a conversation last year with our board of directors at Greenfield Solomon, and we said, look, like, let's do something where we're giving back to the community. You know, let's help nonprofit organizations out there. And by helping these nonprofit organizations, they have donors. You're not going to donate money if you don't have what? Discretionary income.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's be real, right? And like the ones that are going to donate are the ones with discretionary income. And to them, it's a tax write-off.
It's a tax write-off, exactly.
Okay, so that's number one. And number two, a lot of these donors, they're old-timers and they want to hang out with us young folks.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's their reason to be like, well, honey, let's go to that gala, meet some young folks and find out what's going on. And if they drop $10,000 donorship, guess what? That might be a good opportunity for you to pitch them real estate. It's all an ecosystem. It's a pre-qualifying measure.
Yeah. So give me an example of one of these events.
Awesome. Okay. 4th of July, right?
Yes.
Okay, 4th of July, we were all having fun at Casa Marina.
Yeah.
Okay, I had I know, I saw you guys, you had your FSU crew. I said, there goes Bryce, with the FSU crew, whatever. I love you, man, you know. I don't know if you guys saw our stand right by the corner.
Yes.
You saw
yes,
that,
sir.
right?
Yes, sir, I did.
Be advised, that's a tax write-off too. My expense on that event was a tax write-off. As long as I have my Greenfield Solomon
posters
or whatever. Yeah. Take a picture of them and submit it and upload it into our system and say, hey, you know, here's an event that we did. It's a marketing expense, which it is. You know, so it's 60-40, 60% is business, 40%. I'm kicking it with you guys. I'm having fun. A guy walked up and he was from Georgia, 36 years old. He's a surgeon. And we had a great conversation and he was just like, hey man, I've been trying to close this duplex. You know, so tell me more. And it's a little tipsy, right? I was like, and I explained it to him. We just chopped it up, whatever. Like, hey, you know, like this are my, you know, I can help you out with this. Yeah. We can do this in 27 days or less, depending on how fast, you know, I can gather the files from you. We whatever, what have you. That duplex was like $600,000. You know, and since we built that relationship outside of a networking event or outside of an executive type of face-to-face meeting or whatever, it was actually a casual meet.
Yeah, it was natural.
It was natural.
Yeah,
he knows who I am, but I still talk the talk. Like I was wearing like my summertime out gear, my gear, and he was wearing, he was flip-flops. But that conversation was so casual and natural. $600,000, 3%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a solid
conversation, right?
Yeah. It's a solid day in the office. That's 18
His wife was there. She was having fun, having a good time. We closed that deal in like 32 days. But still, that's one good example right there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, it's a win. Number one, we got our brand out there. Number two, I got a lead out of it. Number three, I got to party with you guys.
Yeah. So you have a business expense. You have a very great deal that's paying you,
and then I get to hang out with you guys. We all get to hang out together.
Yeah, you're checking 3 boxes,
right? You know, so at Greenfield Solomon, our thing is, but of course, once again, I would not have been able to do this without my team.
Right.
Our company culture or our firm culture core is number one, teamwork. Number two, branding.
Yeah.
Number three, you got to make money.
Yeah, exactly.
But we always put community and teamwork first as number one. So going back to Social Sparks, it's a multimedia play. Yeah. It's a community outreach play. Same thing what you're doing here right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's a media play. It's not just all about making money, but I mean, we got to provide value, like what we're doing for the audience. We're providing value. Right. So for us, the way of providing value is helping these nonprofit organizations and feeding them, because obviously we have franchises. We're getting our food from our franchise.
So on December 10th, you're throwing this event?
I mean, I want to talk to you about that. Maybe have you and Mark and the crew, your REIT as. I mean, let's work together. Let's figure it out.
Let's do it. Yeah, tell me a little bit more about it.
The goal for Soundwalk Roots is
what's the music? What's the event?
I mean, house music, brother.
House music.
House music, right? So I was thinking was. At the
real estate, pet products, and fitness investment?
I mean, we can cut and paste.
It's all three.
All three, but we can cut and paste it. Like, I mean, like, let's put our brains, once again, teamwork, right? Rule number 1, teamwork. Rule number 2, branding. Rule number 3, let's make money, right? So is this final? No.
Yeah.
But do we have enough time from now until December 10th to cut and paste, to chip and paint, and to brainstorm on making this happen?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's enough time.
It's enough time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so what I was kind of thinking was, right now we're kind of avalanching everything. So obviously we had our first event, our first project, and what we call the Genesis Leaf Project. The next event that we're having is on May 25th, which is our Sprung Garden project. It's already sprung, right?
Where's that going to be at?
That's going to be at the Rec.
The
Rec, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after that, which will be Labor Day weekend, is what we call the Volume Nature.
Yeah.
But all of this is a milestone to really gather the people that believes in what we're trying to do, which is giving back to the community. Number 1, and number 2, it's a rollover. It's a grandfather traffic to putting this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, because the last event, the event 2 weeks ago, we had about. And
it was a wreck, right?
Yeah, it was a wreck, but it was guest list. It would be, and the reason why we did that is because we don't want just the same people coming to our event.
Yeah. What was that? Wasn't that like what was that thing at the Rec? I think I heard about it.
Yeah, the Soundwalk Roots.
Yeah,
Soundwalk
Roots.
Yes. Dude, it was an R&D. Yeah. It was literally like an R&D project. Like, okay, guys, and like, how do we put everyone together? But we don't want the same faces. Oh, yeah, I think we talked about this.
Yeah,
we don't want the same faces over and over again.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I have 3 partners in this project. Garrett is from Scottsdale. He's got a couple of properties. He owns a property management, young guy too, you know. So he's got a property management company in him and his dad's got a property management company in Scottsdale and also here in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you got Val. She's just great. Like, she's not like a Brad or Chad like us, but she's all about like DJ. She creates her own music. Like, she produces her own music. That's awesome. So it's really, and then of course, you've got me that's experienced in capital raising, talking to investors and this and that. So the 3 of us really, like, we're 3 different people.
Right.
But we're working together to put this thing together.
Yeah.
Right. So Garrett has his homework. I'm like, hey, pick your 100 guests. Okay. Carlo, pick your 100 guests. Val, go ahead and pick your content creators and your influencers, 100 guests. And that's what we did. You know, because we didn't want just the same people, you know, because we want people to network together. Right. But at the same time, we also wanted to know, like, okay, what are people talking about right now? When you combine the executives or the entrepreneurs and then the real estate guys and then the influencers and the content creators all together, how can we all work together?
It's a juggernaut.
It's a juggernaut, right?
I like that.
I mean, it's the same thing on 4th of July.
Yeah, but that one at Reg, that was like the Tulum themed one, right? Was that,
okay. we wanted to do the whole Tulum thing.
I should have went. I heard about it and I was gonna go, but I think I'll be at the next one though.
Brother, I'm telling you right now, the guys looked floss.
Yeah.
The girls, I didn't expect. I thought people were just gonna come out like stunner shades, partying after like night before. Yeah. No, dude.
Yeah, it was professional.
People came out flossed.
Yeah. Nice.
The girls looked good. The guys kind of like had a little, not blaze, but a couple of guys like had a little, because it was cold.
Right. Yeah.
I was just like, whoa, dude. And then a couple of our real estate Facebook groups showed up, and they're like, dude, this is kind of
sick.
Sick and cool, because we had catering.
Right.
Because we had. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but you said you had another one coming up. I think I missed it.
May 25th.
May 25th.
Okay. Memorial Day weekend.
Got it.
Okay. And we already have our lead. And the way we treated this thing is like real estate. Like, we followed up with our guests. Hey, how's it going? Like, you know, just to let you know, like, you know, it's on Friday. Okay. Just want to let you know, like, hey, you know, you're in the guest list. Like, we treated it like Las Vegas joint.
Yeah.
Like Miami joint, like Studio 54 style. Not, you know, not everyone can just come in. Like, no way, dude. Like, if you were invited, like, there's a reason why you're here for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so and it came out really awesome. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the video, but it came out.
I gotta check out the video. Is it on Instagram and stuff?
Yeah, it's on Instagram. Yeah,
I'll check it out.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, so that's kind of like what we're trying to convey on the multimedia division side is Let's all come together, but with a different mindset.
I like that.
Exactly.
Because it's like new, it's hip. It's what's
Right.
in. I like that a lot.
It's happening in San Francisco. I mean, we did it in LA, and like Selling Sunset. Have you seen that show?
Yeah.
They're real estate professionals balling it, but they're popping bottles too.
Yeah.
Why can't we do that here?
We can.
You see what I'm saying? Like, why can't
you just have to make it the norm. You have to make it the norm.
That.
Exactly.
Just got to make it. And who's going to do it?
It sounds like it's going to be you.
Well, it's going to be us. All of us, right? Because you got to remember, like, you guys are the future. Like, you guys are the Jacksonville. You know, I mean, I told you this. You know, I'm like, look, man, like, you're that guy. Like, you guys are that guy here. You know, no one else is doing what you're doing, where you're already in private equity. You're already in mergers and acquisitions. I mean, no one else is doing what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean,
I've also noticed too. It's like in today's day and age too. Like I do feel like we have like a generation of people that are getting lazy. So it's almost like you can kind of take advantage of that. And you know, if you can put your head down for 6 months, 12 months, 15 months, you can get ahead pretty easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy, but
it's not easy. But Gen Z definitely gets like dragged through
and there's
social
also
media,
this culture that gets
victim mentality and all that, and then you know.
Well, one thing I like about you guys is you have that FSU alumni like love for each other.
Yeah.
You know, you like I see you guys
travel deep.
Yeah, yeah, you guys do. I'm like, there goes the FSU crew. Like, but I still love you guys. You know, you guys go hard. You know, and I think that's a bond that is like your secret weapon.
Yeah, for sure.
That alumni closeness,
that
network. Yeah. I mean, come on, bro. Like you go to FSU, it's kind of like for us, like San Diego State. You know, I mean, we know our crew.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and we might like to party, but at the same time, we know how to make money too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so I mean, you guys kind of have that within your crew, and you guys are from here. You know, like Mark knows everybody.
He knows everybody.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure you know everybody as well. You know, so that is your biggest fucking asset is your community.
Yeah, 100%.
It's your biggest asset. Like,
and that's why you're giving back to it, and that's why we try to do the same thing.
Yeah. You know, the value that we're giving here right now. I mean, it's gonna pay dividends. For sure. Excuse me, it's gonna pay dividends
for a long time.
For a very long time. Because I mean, we shared a lot of information here. They're like, damn. I remember that 10 years ago when that dude said,
exactly.
We got it locked.
Yeah. Well, I want you to like really just summarize for us, you know, what you can provide and kind of just give a shout out for yourself. Like, hey, this is how you can contact me. This is how we can work together for anybody listening.
Well, Greenfield Solomon. Obviously, we have our Instagram at Greenfield Solomon, and if you want to personally contact me, you can contact me on Instagram, which is at Calegero. That is CALEGERO at Calegero. You can just slide a DM, and any questions that you might have in regards to real estate, financing. I like real estate lending. You know, get at me there. You know.
We're partnering and raising capital.
We're partnering, raising capital, you know. So I mean, there's a lot of things happening, and also we have these Soundwalk Roots events that we're hosting. These projects, each project has a different mission. It's going to be a different nonprofit organization. So we're really all about giving to the community right now, because by giving, I know we're gonna get tenfolds back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you give and then you get. But you get what you give.
You get what you give, right? But it comes back tenfold, you know. And it's got to come with like you got to be genuine with it as well.
Yeah,
you know, because honestly, the craziest part was Greenfield Solomon unloaded $3,000 for this rec event, and to us, it was a marketing expense already.
Yeah,
we raised $4,159. People were throwing money.
Yeah,
they were like,
nice,
okay, nice. Like it wasn't even like. We weren't trying to raise money. It was a marketing expense already.
Yeah.
Of course, we had it juiced up with Greenfield Solomon, Social Sparks. Of course.
Yeah.
You know, it's a marketing expense, but we raised $4,100.
Yeah. That's awesome.
People were throwing it, you know, but while here in real estate, I have to dial for dollars. How much is the appraisal? Yes, sir, $650. Nah, man, are you serious? Can you credit that back to me in escrow? And I'm like, oh Lord, you know.
Yeah.
But here at this event, like, people got dressed up. People had fun, and they were spending money.
Yeah,
because we were partying for a purpose.
Well, I'm looking forward to coming to the next event, and I know for sure, Brylen and I will be there. And if you guys are interested in taking part in these events here in the Jacksonville area, call Calegero, get in touch with him on Instagram, come out to the events, keep in contact with the Greenfield Solomon social media and Social Sparks and everything that they have going on. It's an amazing project, led by an amazing guy. So you definitely won't be disappointed if you have any real estate lending needs on the hard money side. Definitely give this gentleman a call, or if you are interested in investing in funds, get into contact with either of us, or if you're interested in investing in real estate or purchasing your dream home or anything in between across the spectrum of your business needs, you can contact either of us as well. And we thank you guys so much for being in tune to another episode of The Journey Up, an Entrepreneur's Guide, and we'll catch you on the next one.